Hello everyone and welcome to Queer Universe. I'm Jenny and today we are going to be talking about who we are as well as giving our coming out stories. So, I haven't ever publicly, outside of closed Facebook groups, given my coming out story, so this is going to be kind of anticlimactic, but I figured if it helps somebody, then so be it. I identify as asexual. My romantic orientation, and I do ascribe to the split attraction model. My romantic orientation is a lot more confusing than my sexual orientation. Growing up, I knew that I wasn't like my sisters or my girlfriends because I didn't get it. They would see a cute boy and they'd be, "Oh, he's so cute." And I'd be like, "Huh, okay." Or as a teenager and in the mall, and I'd be walking with my sisters and they'd be like, "Oh, Jenny, that cute guy's checking you out." And I wouldn't respond because there was nothing there. I could tell when somebody was attractive within our culture, but for me personally, that never translated to wanting anything to do with them. Society wants you to be a certain way. And as it happens, I am a product of my society. And instead of thinking, oh, well, maybe this is okay, I chose to date boys that I didn't want to date. And I ended up dating someone who was my best friend. And we slept together. And I kind of thought, in that relationship, I thought, oh, well, okay, maybe I need to have sex to have that attraction. Maybe that's I just need to do it and it'll come eventually. No pun intended. And it didn't. It never did. I loved my boyfriend at the time very dearly. But it was the kind of love I have for a brother or just a close friend. We broke up. Things ended badly. And I had my daughter, and I was content to stay single for the rest of my life. There was nothing in me that wanted a relationship, even though everyone around me was saying, you need to want a relationship. Why don't you want to be with somebody? And in the end, it was just, I didn't want a relationship. My mom tried hooking me up with people, and I went on a couple dates with a boy, and I mean, there was just nothing there. I was content to just be a mother to my daughter. Again, society doesn't like that. And through social pressure, my mother, my church, everyone, I started dating someone that I met online when I was 19, and he was much, much older. Skipping over that story, that'll be another video possibly in the future, but it ended very badly. As a result of that, I was pretty messed up. And my church that I was involved in at the time, I ascribed as a Christian at this point in my life. I'm not sure where I stand, somewhere between agnostic, just love people, love each other. I don't know. But at that time, I was very religious. And it was so ingrained within me that I needed to be married because I had a child, which in hindsight is absolutely ridiculous, but that's what was ingrained in me. To the point where I was willing to marry someone I wasn't attracted to, I wasn't in love with, and as long as he was a good father to my daughter, it'd be fine. Don't do that. After this very bad relationship ended, I met a guy, again, through my church, who showed an interest in me, and again, I mean, I didn't pick up that he was interested in me until he flat out said it. And there was nothing there for me. He seemed like a great guy, but nothing there. Again, was encouraged, okay, just go on dates with him. Just see if something sparks. We did. He seemed to like me. Again, there was nothing there. And it was around this time that I started questioning if I might be gay, which is something I still kind of question a little bit every now and again. There was no chemistry, there was no attraction on my part. On his part, I don't know. He says there is. I wonder how, when it was so obvious that I wasn't attracted to him. We decided to break up because there was nothing there. We went to some trusted advisors who were our pastors who arranged our marriage, basically. And it was kind of a messed up deal in hindsight, but at the time it made sense. And as you grow older, a lot of times things will make sense at the time, and in hindsight you can look back and be like, what the was I thinking? I was 20 at that point, and I didn't want to do it, but it seemed wrong to not do it, if that makes sense. One thing I did tell my husband was that I wasn't straight. I didn't know where I lay, but I knew I was not straight, and that I was not attracted to men. I didn't know if I was attracted to women, but I knew I was not attracted to men. That went to hell very quickly. And I remember I got pregnant very quickly because within marriages you are expected, within the culture that I was in, to have sex. And I got pregnant very quickly, and it was awful. And I remember, though, at one point I had a close friend who came to recognize, oh, this might be a messed up situation that you found yourself in. She came over and basically came to me and said, Jenny, I think you're gay. And I kind of laughed. I just given birth to my second child. And I said, I've thought about that a lot lately. And this was something that I've actually thought quite a bit about, is, am I gay? Is this why this has never happened? And so I was talking to her, and I was kind of just, verbally processing with her, am I gay? And I remember thinking, I could be in a relationship with a girl. I could go on dates, hold hands, figure out finances, raise children, sleep in the same bed, cuddle, even kiss. But I didn't want to have sex with a girl. But I don't want to have sex with men either. And she just kind of looked at me and went, huh. That was about 2010. There weren't Facebook groups that I was aware of. I wasn't aware of the term asexual at that time. Ironically, in high school, when my friends would notice that I wasn't noticing boys, and they'd ask me why or what was going on, I'd say, maybe I'm just asexual, that I'm just not attracted to anybody. Which, in, hindsight was like, well, yeah, that's exactly what was going on. So anyhow, fast forward a few years, like I said, my marriage to my husband at the beginning was fucked up. It was a bad situation, and that's another video to go into. When I got pregnant with my third was when that started to change. And our love story is not one that I would ever suggest anyone else try to replicate. But in the end, it ended up working out for us. Things were fairly good in our marriage, but I still noticed that I wasn't like everyone else. I remember I had a neighbor come over one time, and at that time my daughter was obsessed with Twilight. And so I watched the movies with her and kind of tried to edit it because she was, she wasn't that old. She was 6, 7 years old. And it was that scene where Taylor Lautner takes off his shirt. And so he takes off his shirt, and my friend just goes, woo, like that. And I remember thinking, that never occurred to me that was a sexual scene, and yet it kind of was. It's about this point that I started looking for answers of, am I gay? Am I just so far in the closet that I've repressed it even in myself? And it was about that time, so about 2011, 2012 maybe, that I discovered the term asexual. It was like, finally, I know what I am, that I'm not alone. There's more than just me, there are other people who identify as asexual. Um, I'm not broken. There's not something missing. This is just a part of who I am. This is my sexual orientation. I got pregnant again because, contrary to popular belief, not all asexual people are sex repulsed. Um, there are many reasons why people have sex that have nothing to do with attraction, as evidenced by my life. And due to genetics, who I am, I was a very fertile person. My final pregnancy was with twin girls, and so I have 5 children total. My life is a bit busy, and I'm 30. And I feel ancient and very young at the same time. So, before I got pregnant with my twins, and during that pregnancy is when I discovered groups on Facebook, and it was shortly thereafter that I discovered AVEN, the Asexual Visibility and Education Network, and then Facebook groups. And through that, I found out that I really wasn't alone, that there really were other people like me, and that's when I was first introduced to the split model of attraction, that you have a sexual orientation, which can be homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, pansexual, asexual. I mean, there's several of them. And then you have romantic orientation, which is basically the same, except instead of a sexual attraction, it's just romantic. So, like what I described to my friend, of all those things that I'd be okay with doing, that I kind of wanted to do, that I'd be okay with doing with a girl, that was romantic attraction. And I lacked sexual attraction. I don't know if it's just as I've gotten older, gotten to know myself better, and kind of tried to throw off what society expects of me. But as I've gotten older, I've discovered I am more aromantic or demi-aromantic. That's how I came out to myself, how I discovered that there was a name for my identity. Labels can be so helpful. They shouldn't define you, but you should use them to discover who you are and to tell others who you are. If you don't want labels, great. But for those of us that use them, sometimes that gives you an incredible amount of freedom. I am a very honest person. I don't like having any secrets between my husband and myself, and it felt like at this point that there was a secret between us. And so very shortly after discovering who I was and my sexual orientation, I came out to my husband. He knew I was not attracted to him. That's something I had been very upfront about, which for a lot of relationships that would be the ending of that relationship, but we're weird. It's the only explanation. We're just an odd couple. For him, it was a relief. It wasn't a thing of I wasn't attracted to him. It was a thing I wasn't attracted to anyone sexually. And it made a lot of sense to him, and he supported that fully. Since then, we've explored polyamory, which I'm never understood monogamy, and anyhow, we don't cheat. But monogamy confuses me. Polyamory is that seems to make a lot of sense in my brain, so I'm a polyamorous person. When I came out to my mother, she got very angry with me because my husband was in the room, and she informed me that you can't say things like that in front of your husband. And my husband just kind of laughed. I got a lot of the, oh, you just need to relax, and that kind of thing. Or it's a phase, it's a feeling, it's something that's going to change later. That yeah, right now you don't feel like you've experienced sexual attraction, but later, just give it time when you find the right one. Well, I found the right one. I've been with my husband now for 10 years, and it was not an easy relationship, especially at the beginning, but I found someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with. If I were going to experience sexual attraction, I think I would have done it by now. I could still be demisexual or gray sexual, but it hasn't happened yet, and so at this point, no, I am asexual. Anyhow, so that was my coming out story. It's not very interesting, I don't think. Maybe it will help somebody, and if it helps somebody, then that is wonderful. So I wish you all a happy week, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye.